Picture this. It is day 3 of your new job, and the nervous energy of the first day has already faded into something quieter, something that feels less like excitement and more like awareness, the specific, low-level hum of knowing that the people around you are still forming their opinion of you, and that everything you do right now is going into that equation whether you intend it to or not. You are sitting in your second real meeting, and the room has that different texture that rooms get once the new person formality wears off. People are interrupting each other, finishing each other's sentences, laughing at references you do not fully understand yet, and you are watching all of it while trying to figure out, without being obvious about it, how this place actually works. Not the version in the handbook, not the org chart version. The real version. Who actually has influence? How decisions really get made? What kind of contribution earns genuine respect in this specific room with these specific people? And there's a voice in the back of your mind that keeps asking, am I saying the right things? Am I coming across the way I want to? Are the right people noticing me? That voice, that particular anxiety, is the thing I want to talk about today, because it is both completely understandable and, if you let it run the show, quietly working against you. What's up, everyone? It's Soluna. Welcome back to Soluna versus the System. Today, we're talking about the first week, specifically about what the smartest, most socially intelligent employees actually do in those first days, not as a set of tactics or impression management strategies, but as a description of something more fundamental, a way of showing up that builds genuine trust and genuine reputation faster than any performance ever could. And the reason I want to have this conversation is that most of the advice that exists about starting a new job is oriented around the wrong thing entirely. Let's go. Here's what most people get wrong about the first week, and I say this not to criticize, because the mistake is completely understandable. It comes from a reasonable place. Most people approach the first week as a performance, as a chance to demonstrate competence, to manage the impression they're making, to make sure the right people notice them quickly. And there's nothing inherently wrong with any of that. First impressions are real, professional presentation matters, and building early visibility is a genuine career advantage. But the framing of the first week as primarily an impression management exercise produces a specific kind of self-consciousness, and that self-consciousness is, paradoxically, one of the biggest obstacles to actually making a good impression, because the experienced human beings around you in a new environment have watched many people start, and they can feel the difference in the quality of your attention, in the texture of your presence in a conversation, between someone who is performing and someone who is actually there. The thing they find most impressive is the thing that's hardest to fake: genuine intelligence in how you navigate a new environment. Not the intelligence of knowing all the answers, but the grounded curiosity of someone who genuinely wants to understand what they have just walked into. The first week is not primarily a performance, it's an education, and once you genuinely understand that, not as a consolation, but as a liberation, the whole orientation of those first days changes, because you stop trying to look impressive and start actually being curious. And in most professional environments, curiosity is more impressive than confidence. The first thing you notice about a genuinely smart new employee is that they're interested, in the real observable sense, not performing interest, not asking questions as a tactic, but actually curious about the people and the systems and the history of the place they've just joined.
Curiosity is one of those qualities that is almost impossible to fake convincingly. People can feel the difference between a question asked because you genuinely want the answer and a question asked because you have been told that asking questions makes you look engaged. And the reason it matters so much in the first week is that genuine curiosity produces genuine listening, and genuine listening is the quality that, more than almost anything else, builds the kind of early trust that every other aspect of a successful start depends on. When you are genuinely listening to someone, when your attention is fully directed toward understanding what they are telling you rather than toward managing your impression or preparing your response, people feel it, and that felt quality of being actually heard is among the most powerful and most rare experiences in a professional environment. The new person who walks in with genuine curiosity and genuine listening capacity builds more goodwill in the first week than almost anything else they could do. This connects to something deeper in the psychology of professional relationships, which is the fundamental human experience of feeling seen. When someone takes the time to understand how you work, what you care about, what challenges you are navigating, something shifts in how you feel about them, and that shift shapes the kind of advocate and ally you are willing to be for that person going forward. There's also a practical dimension here that is worth naming explicitly, because the knowledge that circulates in an organization informally, the kind that lives in the heads of experienced colleagues and does not appear in any document, is among the most valuable professional knowledge that exists. The person who has been in a role for 5 years carries an understanding of why certain decisions were made, which approaches have been tried and failed, what the organization actually rewards versus what it claims to reward. And that understanding is entirely inaccessible to someone who arrives too busy performing their own competence to actually ask about any of it. The smart employee arrives asking, genuinely, humbly, intelligently asking, and in doing so, they acquire in weeks an understanding of the environment that would otherwise take months to develop through observation and trial and error. In meetings specifically, the smart first-week employee is not the one who contributes the most. They are the one who contributes most accurately, and there is a meaningful difference between those two things. Contributing frequently during the first week can signal enthusiasm, but it can also signal that you have not yet calibrated the room, that you do not yet know which contributions add value in this specific context and which ones create noise. Contributing accurately, saying things that are precise, well-timed, and genuinely useful, signals something more valuable than frequency. It signals judgment, and judgment in professional environments is the quality that people trust most, the quality that makes them want to include you in the important conversations and the high-stakes decisions. In one-on-one conversations, the quality that matters most is the ability to listen in a way that makes the other person feel that their experience and perspective are being genuinely absorbed rather than politely acknowledged before you redirect to your own. This is harder than it sounds, because most of us, when we are listening, are partially listening and partially formulating the next thing we want to say. But in the first week, when the information you are receiving is genuinely unfamiliar and genuinely important, the quality of your listening has both a practical dimension, you actually learn more, and a relational dimension. The person speaking can feel that you are fully there, and that feeling is one of the foundations of professional trust.
And then there is the question of how you handle not knowing things. Because in the first week, not knowing is not just inevitable, it is total. You do not know the context behind the decisions being made. You do not know the history of the relationships in the room. You do not know who actually has influence and why. You do not know what the stated priorities are versus the real ones. The way you handle this universal experience, whether you try to hide it, overstate what you do know to fill the gap, or whether you acknowledge it honestly and use it as the foundation for genuine inquiry, is one of the clearest early signals of the kind of professional you are. I have strong experience with this in a different context. I want to make sure I understand how it applies here before I come to any conclusions. Is a sentence that does several things simultaneously. It signals competence, it signals intellectual honesty, and it positions you as someone who values accuracy over appearance, which is precisely the quality that people will come to rely on. Professional relationships are built through accumulated moments of genuine human contact, and the first week provides an unusual density of those moments, which makes it a disproportionately important period for laying the foundations of the relationships that will shape your experience of the role going forward. The temptation here is to approach relationship building in a way that becomes visible, to identify the people who matter, and concentrate your warmth on them in ways that the people who do not matter will notice. This is one of the most damaging first-week mistakes, because the people who are watching most carefully are often the ones whose titles suggest they should be watching least. Smart employees understand that the relationship dimension of a new environment works most powerfully when it is genuinely non-hierarchical, when the quality of attention and warmth you bring to every interaction is consistent, regardless of seniority. Not because every relationship has equal strategic value, that would be naive, but because people notice how you treat the people who cannot do anything for you, and what they notice shapes their understanding of your character in ways that no amount of targeted networking can compensate for. There's also something practically important here, which is that the support staff, the operational people, the colleagues whose roles seem peripheral to your work, often carry organizational knowledge and informal influence that is entirely out of proportion to their formal position. The person who has been answering the phones for 7 years knows things about the real dynamics of the place that a new hire in a senior role will spend months trying to understand. And the person who makes them feel from the very first interaction that their knowledge and experience are genuinely worth attention is building something real, something that will show up in unexpected ways over the course of the relationship. Here is the realization that I think changes everything about how to approach the first week. And it's something that sounds simple, but takes a specific kind of maturity to actually embody. The most impressive thing you can do in your first week is to be fully, genuinely present, not performing presence, not the performance of engagement and confidence that makes you look present from the outside while you're actually somewhere else, managing your impression, calculating your moves. Actual presence, the quality of being fully in the room, fully in the conversation, fully available to what is actually happening around you without the filtering layer of self-consciousness between you and the experience. Genuine presence is rare in professional environments, and it's rare specifically because professional environments produce the kind of self-consciousness that makes genuine presence difficult. The awareness of being observed, the pressure of performing competence, the anxiety about impression management, all of these pull attention away from the environment and toward the internal management of how the environment perceives you. And the irony is that this internal focus produces exactly the outcomes it's trying to prevent. It makes you less accurate in your observations, less responsive in your listening, less genuinely engaged in your interactions. And the people around you can feel the difference between someone who is actually there and someone who is managing their image of being there. The shift is to trust that genuine presence, genuine curiosity, genuine listening, genuine engagement is itself the most strategically intelligent approach available to you, not as a tactic, but as the natural behavior of someone who has decided to actually be where they are. This is what makes smart employees look like they are not trying, because they have stopped trying to look smart and started actually being curious. And curiosity in a new environment looks like intelligence, because it is intelligence. Before your first day, do one thing that almost nobody does. Spend time getting genuinely curious about the people you are about to meet, not researching them in a surveillance way, but in the way of someone who is about to spend a significant portion of their professional life alongside them and wants to arrive with a genuine interest in who they are and what they care about. This orientation, arriving curious rather than arriving to impress, changes the quality of your attention from the very first interaction. In your first week of meetings, practice the habit of listening fully before formulating your response, which means allowing a beat of actual processing after someone finishes speaking before you begin to reply. The quality of what you say after genuine listening is different from what you say after partial listening, and the people in the room can feel that difference, even if they cannot name it. Find 1 or 2 people who have been in the organization long enough to carry genuine institutional knowledge and make specific time to understand their experience, not as a strategy for extracting useful information, but because their experience genuinely is worth understanding. The knowledge you build in those conversations will make every subsequent week of your time there more effective. And when you do not know something, which will be often and which will be fine, practice the specific confidence of saying so cleanly and honestly, framing your uncertainty not as inadequacy, but as the accurate starting point from which you are building. Honest uncertainty, stated with professional confidence, is one of the most trustworthy signals you can send in a new environment, And it is also, in the long run, the only foundation for credibility that actually holds. The anxiety of the first week, the hyper-awareness of your own visibility, the pressure of the blank slate, the desire to get it right from the very beginning, is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you care. And caring is a reasonable, healthy, completely human response to a situation where what happens next genuinely matters to you. But I want to offer a gentler frame for what getting it right actually means, because the version most people are trying to live up to, the flawless first impression, the immediately valuable contribution, the effortlessly confident new arrival who already seems to know the place, is not just unrealistic, it's the specific kind of pressure that makes the first week harder than it needs to be. The smart employee in their first week is not the one who gets everything right. They're the one who creates the conditions for getting things right over time, by building genuine relationships, by developing genuine understanding, by arriving with the kind of authentic, curious, present engagement that makes the people around them genuinely glad to have them there. That's not a performance, it's a way of being, and it's available to you not because you're better than your anxious self, but simply by deciding to be where you are, fully and genuinely, rather than somewhere else in your head, managing a version of yourself that doesn't need managing. The first week is not a test that you pass or fail. It's the first chapter of something, and the first chapters that begin in genuine curiosity and genuine presence tend to develop into something real and lasting in a way that the chapters built on performance rarely do. So arrive curious, arrive honest, arrive genuinely interested in the people you're about to spend your professional time with, and trust that the quality of your presence, real, unhurried, genuinely engaged, is worth more in those early days than any impression management strategy you could deploy. Progress is what matters, not perfection in any single moment, and the professional you are becoming is built one genuine interaction at a time.